honestly.
You feel pretty bad? Tell me about that. What are you experiencing?
Just more of the same, I think. Headaches and
Mhm.
fatigue, brain fog, stuff like
Mm,
that.
okay.
The half my body weight in ounces of water thing, I've been doing that for a while, so
Okay.
that was
Wasn't
not
a
a
new
new
thing for
thing.
you.
But the castor oil thing was new, and I haven't been feeling so great after that, so maybe something's working. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like you're probably having some detox stuff happen with that, but let me just pull up your sheet here. I know we don't have too much data for you just because you're new, but it's always good to get a baseline. So, since you started the castor oil, have you noticed any changes to your bowel movements at all?
No.
No. Okay. So no bloating or diarrhea or gas or looser bowel movements, anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Just an increase in headaches?
Yeah, and the first couple days that I did it, the area around where I put the oil was really sore.
Oh, okay. Yes. So the soreness is definitely a common side effect once the body starts releasing toxins. It's also going to bring more blood flow to the area, which can feel like a little bit of discomfort. Um, Now let's see here. So would you say are the headaches the same, better, or worse, like in intensity and frequency?
I would say the same intensity, slightly more frequency, because this is
Oh,
not the time of month when I normally get headaches or get
okay.
them. Yeah, I've had 3 days in the last week with a headache, and I don't
Oh,
usually have
not fun.
any.
Okay. And when did you, I'm just pulling up, if you see me like looking back and forth, it's because I'm looking at your tracking guide there. When did you start the castor oil?
I started it last Sunday evening.
Last Sunday. Okay. So that would be about a week. All right. And it's the 26th. So that would have been last Wednesday. Okay. I'm just like confirming dates here. Okay. Yeah. So I think you're definitely hitting some detox here, which doesn't feel good, but is beneficial. And if you're at all like me, I tend to experience a lot of my detox symptoms like neurologically. So I'll either have a lot of brain fog or a lot of fatigue or a lot of mood swings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Irritability is a big one. Occasionally I'll get migraines, not migraines, but headaches where it's just like this is not fun. So there's a couple things that we can do to kind of mitigate that response. It does go away. The longest I've ever seen somebody have like detox symptoms last like that is usually the longest I've ever seen it is about 2 weeks. To where there's just kind of this like kind of bobbing above the surface of just not feeling great. And then all of a sudden it shifts and it's like we've broken through that really uncomfortable detox phase. Um, how often are you having bowel movements?
Right now, about once a day, or sometimes I skip a day.
Okay. So, yeah, so my gut feeling, no pun intended, was that motility, when motility is slower, it takes longer to get those toxins out of the bowels. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
they're kind of recirculating in the bloodstream, which is then when we tend to have some more of those detox symptoms. Can you remind me, are you currently on a probiotic?
No, not in pill form.
Okay. So just food-based probiotics like fermented foods, yogurts, things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I eat my weight in yogurt and kimchi because I love both of those things, but I'm not
Good.
taking probiotics.
Okay. Nope, that's okay. Um, I'm just thinking of what might be our next best step, but I'm going to ask a few more questions first. Is there anything that tends to help the headaches when you get them?
No, nothing. And I have tried everything, and there is nothing that helps.
Okay, got it. Okay. And like even ibuprofen won't touch it if you take it?
Yeah, no kind of painkiller does anything. It's very strange.
Yeah, that's not fun, that's for sure. Well, I think the first thing we need to do is get some more regular bowel movements happening to help kind of ease the detox symptoms that you're experiencing. Now, those will shift on their own, even if we don't get the bowels moving more frequently. But I do think that just in my clinical observation, having sluggish bowels is allowing a lot of stuff to recirculate in the bloodstream that's unpleasant and not fun. Have you ever tried anything like smooth move tea or anything with like ginger, fennel, anything like that to keep things moving?
I have, and I haven't noticed a huge difference. Maybe I didn't do it for long enough or eat enough of it or something. Honestly, the only thing that seems to help is coffee. And even then, it's not every time, it's only
Sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah. No, totally. And yeah, I completely get that. So let's see. Yeah, because we've got some brain fog. And would you say that the brain fog is that's a pretty consistent symptom that you have?
Yeah, that one goes up and down, but this past week it's been like every day.
Every day. Okay, yeah, that's pretty detoxy, which I know is not fun to hear, but I would prefer to know that it's like a normal discomfort than like, oh man, like why are my symptoms getting worse right at the beginning? That never
Yeah.
feels fun. But this is why one, we do the coaching calls and we do the tracking is so that we can really easily identify some of the obstacles that might keep you from moving forward, in a more smooth fashion. So I have a couple thoughts. Do you take any like digestive enzymes with your meals at all?
No, I don't.
Okay. Have you ever taken them before?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think maybe a long, long time ago I did once or twice. It was something my mom told me, here, take this, but it wasn't like something I was on for a while.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm thinking for you, because constipation or, sluggish bowel movements is never just a lower GI problem. Almost always it starts in the stomach when the food is being broken down because that signals the liver, the gallbladder, and the intestines to do their job. And so if we have like low stomach acid, meaning that we're just not making enough stomach acid to fully digest our food, all of that lower GI triggering is not going to happen. And we need to be breaking down our food appropriately and getting some enzymes to help with that process. That alone could be more than enough for you to get things moving uh, forward faster, I guess, for lack of a better word. Um, there's a really good brand called Now Enzymes or Now Super Enzymes that are really, really affordable. I like to use those because they are probably the most affordable on the market and they tend to work really well. If, however, you're wanting one that's like a food-based enzyme, which is more of like the ginger, fennel, a little bit of prebiotics mixed in there, there's a supplement called Mega Guard that can help with that as well. But I think my goal for you hearing that is to get you through the detox phase quicker. And while we've identified, that you're having detox symptoms, we've also kind of identified an obstacle to moving through detoxification for you is getting your bowels moving faster.
Yeah.
More, I don't want to say faster because that makes me think like diarrhea. We don't want that. What we want is regular, easy bowel movements that help with the whole elimination process. So how do you feel about starting some of those things or even adding in some gentle, even some like ginger teas, things like that that can help just keep things moving and help support the stomach acid and all of that stuff. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'd be willing to try that. I think I would probably get the enzymes that you suggested because I have taken the more like gentler things, eating more ginger, the tea, stuff like that. I haven't noticed a big difference, so
Okay.
something to kind of step it up a little, I wouldn't be afraid of trying that.
Okay. I think that sounds that's what I was leaning towards, but I'm also always open to what you're in your body and you know your lifestyle and you know where you can kind of meet me halfway with some of that stuff. So, the second thing that I would like to start mainly because of, let's look at this. So some of the fatigue, brain fog, constipation, you don't have too much bloating, which is great. Lower GI pain. Let's see here, irritability, those all look good. Mainly like the brain fog, headaches, sleep issues, and lethargy is getting you on a good probiotic. One of the probiotics that I like to use, it's called HU58. I actually don't know why they name it HU58. I feel like they could have probably come up with a different name for it. But I've seen it to be really, really effective in containing any like pathogenic bacteria that slow down motility. So whenever we see irregular bowel movements, constipation, and or diarrhea, like too frequently or too slow, and we're kind of like at either end of the spectrum, I'm always thinking like that's a little bit of a red flag for some dysbiosis. And so when there's dysbiosis, we have to address the stomach, which is like the stomach acid part of it and enzymes, and that's actually breaking down our food. But then we also have to like contain the bad bacteria. So HU58 does a really good job of that without us having to do something more of like a heavy hitter in terms of killing off bad bacteria. So it is going to have the effect of killing off bad bacteria, but not in a really heavy detox kind of way. It's a more gentle containment approach to that. Um, so I would recommend doing that as well for about a month, and then we'll switch to more of like a broad coverage probiotic for you, just to cover a few more bases. But I want to get you through the initial detox phase and get you feeling a little bit better. Does that sound reasonable and fair?
Yeah, is that one that you suggested, is that would I be taking that along with or instead of the probiotic that you normally recommend?
I would take it along with just for the month. And then we'll probably stick with the one that I had initially recommended for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so short term, don't usually need it for much longer than that, but it does a really good job of helping to kind of get rid of some inflammation in the bowels that would be causing some of the slower motility. When is your next menstrual cycle?
Mm, supposed to be next Monday, could be Sunday.
Okay, so we're kind of in that week of the luteal
Yeah.
phase. Okay. Got it. And let's see here. Okay. So I know that's my goal is to get some better motility, which should lessen the headaches there for you as well once we get things moving. But what other questions or concerns do you have for me today?
I think the only other thing I was gonna ask you was if you knew of a easier way to kind of contain the castor oil when I put it on because it is
Mm,
getting all over everything. Um,
okay.
I put it on at bedtime. I don't usually sleep wearing a shirt just because I'm more comfortable that way.
Sure.
But I have tried it. And the oil just goes right through the shirt. And I am a
Okay.
belly sleeper anyway, so like I can't
Yeah.
sleep if I'm on my stomach, but I tried putting a towel down and I also move around a lot when I sleep, so the towel
Right.
goes, off the bed or whatever. And
Sure.
my sheets have oil all over them, so I just didn't know
Oh,
if
I'm
you
sorry.
it's okay. It's just one of those things that happens, but I didn't know if you had any tricks to like contain that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you're a belly sleeper, so I tend to sleep on my back. But if you're a belly sleeper, they do have some castor oil wraps on Amazon. They're like 10 or 15 bucks. That they literally kind of like Velcro on, but the Velcro is not touching your skin. It's like just like a little wrap that contains it. You could do that and sleep with that on. I've had a few clients do that really successfully. I have other clients that they prefer not to do castor oil like once they're in bed. They'll just do it like as a part of their bedtime routine. So like 30 minutes. I don't have the luxury of like sitting on the couch for 30 minutes before bed and doing castor oil, which is why I typically tell people to do it like when they're in bed, just because that's kind of how it works for me. Um, but if you want to, you can certainly do it like outside of the bedroom and just then I just wipe it off. Get some soap and water and kind of wipe it off after that 30 minutes. So that would be my recommendation is either to get one of those pretty cheap wraps on Amazon and they have like the sizing on there. I'm not particular on a brand. I just put castor oil wrap and that's what comes up. Sorry, it's really dark in here. I don't mean to be hiding as a recluse in the corner there. Um, that's what I would try. Or if you want to, like some clients, they will do the castor oil roll on and then wipe that off before bed. So they'll do the castor oil roll on, put a cloth over it. You can like tuck the cloth under your bra, basically, like maybe while you're cooking dinner, and then just wipe it off before you go to bed. Um, so it might take some creativity in finding an option that works for you, but I definitely don't want you ruining your sheets for it. So if we can mitigate that problem, that would be ideal for sure.
Is there a benefit to leaving it on longer than 30 minutes? I would assume yes, if people are going to bed with it on. Like, is putting it on for 30 minutes and wiping it off, is that enough time with it?
Yeah, it is. So the only reason why some women sleep with it is more just because of limited time. So if they don't have time to like sit there for 30 minutes and then wipe it off and then go to the bathroom and clean things up, they're just going to sleep with it on, but you kind of absorb the max within about 30 to 45 minutes. So
Oh,
keeping it on longer is not going to increase the absorption. You've already hit the max at about 30 to 45 minutes.
okay, because it doesn't look like it absorbs much. Like it absorbs pretty slowly and stays
Right.
sticky for a long time. So I didn't know like how much was actually getting in there.
Yeah. There's I don't have the exact studies on the amount, but it's not so much that you're so if you think about like the active ingredient in castor oil that's detoxifying is the acid component of it, which is just a chemical molecule that we have named an acid. And it's carried in the fatty molecule of the oil. So the fatty molecules of the oil actually carry the acid into the liver, but most of that oil, the fat molecule of the oil, stays on top of the skin while you're absorbing the acid through the oil. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
it's it's tricky because it looks like, gosh, I'm not really absorbing a lot of this, but you are absorbing the acid through the oil that's being absorbed through the skin.
Oh, okay, cool.
So just a little chemistry lesson for today. I don't have a fancy slideshow on it, but that's kind of a nutshell of how that works. But you will get through the headaches. You will get through that. I will just empathize with you that I am one of those detoxifiers that no matter what detox I do, I get headaches and brain fog with it. And it sucks. But I've gotten better at pushing through and kind of gently supporting my body through that process to where I just know like that's how my body detoxifies. Some people have diarrhea for a week. I would prefer a headache over diarrhea, I think. But that's me personally, you know. Everybody has their own discomfort around that, and I know that it's not fun, but I do want to encourage you that it's fairly normal to experience that, and we'll get you through to the other side of it, okay?
Yeah, I figured, but it helps to hear you say that, so thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'll be on recording, so if you need to listen to that multiple times over the next week, just let me know. You've got access to it. So, what else can I help you with today? Those are some good questions.
I think that's all at the moment. We hit all the pressing issues.
Awesome. Well, it's good to see you on here. And by the way, that color looks lovely on you. It's an excellent color for your hair.
Thank you.
And thanks for making it on, even though there were some tech glitches and I was a few minutes late because of that. I appreciate the grace and the understanding. And as always, feel free to reach out to us in Messenger if you have any questions throughout the week, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right, Sharon, you have a great rest of your Monday and a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, you too.
Bye bye.